Hello, students. We want to talk about one more time about perpetuity. Let's say someone gives you 1,000, let's say you give $1,000 to someone, and that person promises you to give, promises you 5% annually, a kind of interest. Therefore, that will be $50 per year, but it is indefinitely. Indefinitely means in the next 1,000 years. It is a little different from the bank because usually in the bank you can go and always get your one if it is in your saving account or your checking account earning 5% interest, you can get this money back. But this is perpetuity. That means for indefinitely you get that 5% and the interest rate won't fluctuate. And this is the shape of it. Let me see if I increase this. You will see this is the perpetuity, and this is the vertical line is $50. Horizontal, that means every year you get that $50. Then we come back and we look at the another case, and which is a bond. What is the difference between a bond and a perpetuity? Bond is not a perpetuity. What happens is that someone borrows $1,000 from you and promises 5% a year, which is the same as $50. However, this bond has a contract that will end in 10 years. After 10 years, that person will give your money $1,000 back. This person 5%, which is $50, is known as annuity, as coupon payment. Therefore, the way it looks like, if you look at this, is a very interesting shape in here. If you look at here, is this green one is what you are getting, which is the small green is first year, you get $50, second year, $50. After 10 years, after year 10, not only you get your $50, you get this green big line, which is the money, your $1,000 you get back. In perpetuity, you don't see this big line, green line, this tall green line. You will see this small green line, all forever, 1,000 years, you get $50. Therefore, this is a perpetuity. This is a bond, which, has a coupon payment of 5%. Now, we talked about, chapter 14 is about preferred stocks. Preferred stocks are something has some features of stocks, some features of bonds. Do you see that in bonds, for example, you get a monthly, annual coupon payment? Therefore, preferred stocks instead get dividends. However, they don't give you this tall green one at the end because they are more like perpetuity, which means they are more like this one because you are not borrowing any money from anyone. You are the owner of that preferred stocks. Therefore, you are going to get $50 as long as you have not sold those preferred stocks. Therefore, the preferred stocks, as long as you have not sold them, they have a feature of perpetuity. Do you see? Indefinitely, you get that $50, for example. However, some of these preferred stocks, if they are callable, that means that the issuing company might give you a call if the contract says after 10 years, we are going to give your money back. Therefore, if that happens, suddenly it will have a shape and feature of a bond. Do you see? Look at here. That is a preferred stock, but because after 10 years they are going to call you back and give you your money back, it becomes more like a bond. As long as it is not like a bond, it's not callable, that means they don't have the right to give your money back. It has a feature of perpetuity. The only difference is that you can sell. We have one problem that we wanted you to take a look at, and that is the practice problem in chapter 14. And it is about preferred stocks. The question would be, what are preferred stocks and how do they differ from why they are different from common stocks. When you buy stocks, you are buying common stocks usually. Preferred stocks, some investors prefer some kinds of more solid payments of dividends, as the coupon payments of bonds are very solid. The dividends of preferred stocks are solid also somewhat, but common stocks might not even give dividends. Now, as we said, the bonds have a kind of $50 payments. Those $50 payments are more like annuity. Annuity means every year they are giving you. Didn't they give you $50 for 10 years? Therefore, that component is a kind of annuity that they are giving you. Therefore, we can calculate the present value of that annuity. Also, in terms of bonds, they are going to give you $1,000 back, for example, after 1 year, because 10 years. After 10 years, when they give you your money back, therefore we can calculate the value of that $10,000, $1,000 in today's money. Therefore, a bond has two components. One component is the annuity, that's $50 for 10 years. That's called annuity. That's, annuity is something that they give you for certain amount. If it has a contract says it is 10 years, they give you 10 years, $50. And then bond has one more component, and that is they give you your money back after 10 years, which is that your $1,000, because they kept your money for 10 years. They used it and they put it for investment. The company used it, and that's why they gave you $50. Now, in order to calculate the value of a bond, you have to calculate the value of that annuity, as well as to calculate the value of that $1,000 that they are going to give you 10 years from now. You bring, what's the value of the, how much are you going to give them if they are going to give you $1,000 10 years from now? And that's where those two tables came from. Now, there is a problem in the book which is called Chapter 14, Practice number 5. In that one, if you look at, it says calculate the value of a preferred stocks if it gives you $4 dividend for 10 years. If the dividends are being paid for 10 years, and also it is callable, that means after 10 years they say bring it back, they are going to give you $85 and get that stock back from you. Then because you are getting cash, then you are out of the contract. In this case, this preferred stock has a feature of a bond. Do you see that? For 10 years, it is giving you, $4 dividend, which means that is more like an annuity. And because they give you one-time payment of $85 at the end, that is again more like the money that they give you. Do you remember bond was giving you $1,000 at the end? And also in bonds, we did have an interest rate of 5%, 6%. That was different from the dividend that they paid. We said 4% dividend. Therefore, in bonds, we do have to calculate a value of a bond. We need 4 components. One is that percentage of dividend, or how much dividends they are giving us, and how many years they are giving us, and how much at the end of the contract they are giving us, and what is expected rate of return. If we have these numbers, this comes usually in percentage. If we have these numbers, then we can calculate the value of a bond. But because this preferred stock has the feature of a bond, we can use the bond formula for this to calculate, and we can use those schedules that the book gave us. For example, for this one, I'll give you the answer. This is the practice test. I will show you. It is practice of, chapter 14, practice number 5. And let's see how we do the calculation. We know our R is 5%. We know time is 10 years. And also future value, that in future they are going to give us $85. and instead of 1,000 that the bond gives, instead of 1,000 that the bond gives, they give us $85. Therefore, how can we calculate? They just look at it as a bond. Therefore, what happens is that we look at the annuity table. This is the annuity table. This is, you have seen it. If you look at here, because the interest rates, as you all know, the interest rates are at 5% and it is 10 years. If you look at the percentage at the top and then 10 on the vertical line, you see that 7.22 for every $1. That is the annuity that you will receive. That the meaning of it is that if someone gives you $1 every year for the next 10 years, when the interest rates are at 5%, how much would you be interested to give that person? You should be giving that person $7.07. Do you see the circle I have put? You should be giving that person $7.72. And if you do that, that person every year gives you $1. Do you see? Until 10 years. And then after that, that person doesn't give you anything. How? That's for $1. We know that in case of this, preferred stock, it's giving us $4 instead of $1. Therefore, we multiply that 4 by this 7. 4 times 7 is $28. That means the value of the dividends that we are getting for this preferred stocks, just the dividend itself, the value is 4 times 7 is around $28. That's one value. Now, also, they are going to give us $85. Therefore, we look at the other table, which is right in here. And the meaning of it is that if the meaning of 10 years from now, if someone gives me $1, $10 years from now, and in today's money, I would give that person $1. I will give that person $1. That person would give me if the person gives me $1, 10 years from now, when the interest rates are 5%, that means that in today's value of that money is 0.614. That's the value of $1. When 10 years from now, it is $1. In today's money, the value of it is only 61 cents. Therefore, regarding $85, if someone is giving me $85 10 years from now, how much should I give that person for that $85? When we do the calculation, we multiply 85 by this 0.614, and let's say 8 times 6 is $50. Therefore, we are getting two components from this, preferred stock. One, we are getting dividends. Do you remember it was $28? And this one, which for $85, that is $50 of, today's money is equivalent of $85 of 5 years from now. We add these two numbers. Do you see that? $52, that is $85 of 10 years from now. Therefore, what we are telling to whoever who is going to sell our preferred stocks to us, we say because of that $85 of that money, 10 years from now, you want to give me $85, that the value of that is $52 in today's money. Also, you are giving me $4 for the next 4 years. That's an annuity. You will add these two numbers together. That becomes $83.78. That's the money that you are paying for that preferred stocks today. When you pay that, that means that the company will pay you $4 for 10 years. That's the value of it. And then the company will give you $85 10 years from now. Therefore, you convert everything in today's money because you are going to give this much in today's money to that person and you get that back. This example is very similar to the example of the bonds. Some students told me they don't know how to use that. My recommendation is just look at this example. This was an excellent example, and the answer is around 83. And the question of the book, if you look at question number 5, you will be able to see. Let me see if I can find the question number 5. Here it is. I am here. Then I come here. Practice test number 14. I click here and I will, and number 5, it came to around 83. And you will see what it is. It was a comprehensive example and a start assignment. And this is number 5. I copied. And do you see here is 83? This is, let me check my work. And you see it's correct. Therefore, I want you to see exactly how I did solve this problem, because if you understand this, you can calculate the value of bonds, you can calculate the value of callable preferred stocks, and we go from there. If you have any questions, let me know.